Mary Robinson, former president of Ireland, recently talked about cognitive dissonance that's happening in the world, and this being the source of so much conflict and inconsistent decision making, and just this sense of chaos, global chaos that's happening in the context of climate emergency, the nature emergency, and leaders not necessarily taking the action that needs to be taken at this crucial point of time for the future of humanity, for our children and future generations. But she boiled it back down to a concept that's really at the heart of the Climate Calm Resilience series. And it's about being able to navigate this disconnect between what we can do for ourselves internally to bring ourselves back to a more regulated state, and what happens when we step out into an environment, into a world that is surrounded by inherently dysregulated environments, by people who aren't feeling balanced in themselves. And when we break this down, it's a natural response of the nervous system. We've developed as a society a heightened threat response. And the threat response works as a classic fight or flight sympathetic state of activation of the nervous system. That fight or flight state is necessary to protect us in moments when it matters. So it raises our heart rate, it directs energy and blood to the primary organs so that we can physically run away or we can physically fight our way out of a situation. That becomes unhelpful, however, when that state is regulated for a long time. And in a world of increasing global connectivity, the 24/7 nature of threatening headlines, of social media, of our brains having to deal with a level of information and complexity of circumstances that's absolutely unprecedented. We are not evolved to deal with. Our nervous systems are becoming heightened and our baseline shifts. When we step out into the world, we start coming across disinformation. And that is heightening our sense of threat. When we hear something that doesn't chime with our values or what we believe to be true in the world, even if our beliefs are based on 20 years of experience or numerous degrees and qualifications, that dissonance creates a threat response. That's a biological response that in some ways feels a little bit outside of our control. This is a real understanding of this can be a real way to bring us together for both our personal development, but also understand that it's happening in the nervous systems of others. The fight or flight response is inherently egotistical. It is defensive, it is not collaborative, and it's not willing to listen to complexities and nuances and opinions of others. It's a biological threat response that wants to jump to a solution really quickly. And that's not a good place to be if you're in a decision-making position, if you are in local or national politics, if you are leading a community, or even if you're just someone that people turns to within your family or your circle of friends, because you've got insights that are really important to share. But it's difficult because you're stepping into a world that is inherently dysregulated, and now it's being characterized by misinformation, which is considered one of the key global threats to security of our time. So how do we navigate that and how do we address that? The Climate Calm Resilience series is designed based on neuroscience, of the biology of that threat response and how we can shift it into a more positive, empowered way, and a way of thinking that's more holistic, it's more sustainable. It's more sustainable for ourselves in that we will have increased amount of energy to continue to step forward into spaces if we are able to overcome this fight or flight response and to be able to get ourselves into an increasingly regulated state where we can communicate more clearly, we can think more clearly, and we can enable ripples of positive change and transformation in the world at a time where it's desperately needed. If this resonates with you, come along. You can start by downloading the free book, Regulate Before You Burn Out, written by myself, Helen Draper, founder of Climate Calm. And from there's plenty more resources that are practical, they're applicable, and tools that you can use immediately to be able to start shifting your state into one that's empowered and just feels better within yourself.